Welcome to my next fretboard diagram video. This diagram video is going to talk about the major scale and lead guitar play or melody play. First, I'm going to break down the major scale and what it is. The major scale is a formula of whole steps and half steps. You can start on any note and create a major scale by proceeding with this whole step and half step pattern. So from your starting tone, your next tone must be a whole step away. On the guitar, that means the distance of 2 frets. So if you're on the 1st fret, this next note would be on the 3rd fret. If you're on the 5th fret, this next note would be on the 7th fret. Then we would go yet another whole step. So that means there's one note in between, one note in between. Between the 3 and the 4, there would be no fret in between. They would just go to the next note. And then we would proceed with 3 more whole steps before finishing on a half step. And if we've done the scale right, we will end on the same note that we started with, just an octave higher. And then this is the scale degree formula for the major scale, which is, once again, it's whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and then we call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, back to 1. So I'm going to eliminate this right here, and now we have our 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to start by start on the high G string, or the high E string, and with a G note. So if that's my 1, my 2 would be right here, my 3 would be right here. So this is G, A, B, and then C, and then D, and then E, and then F, and then G. So if you're going to do some lead playing over a chord progression, a lot of times you're going to be in the higher end of the instrument. If somebody's playing chords, they're involved in some low note playing or really a full range. So it's good to, if you're just starting to explore it, or in any case, it's good to utilize the high string and the high couple of strings. And so here's just a way that you can remember that if we construct a full single string scale, starting on the 1, going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and if you commit that pattern to memory, then you will know that, and you can play around with those melodies right there. But here's something else that'll make it easier to move around to another string, for instance. So if this is our 1 right here, which is G, we have A, B, C, D. This note is also D, so this is the 5. In fact, whenever we play a 1 on this string, this is, of course, minus the B string rule. If you haven't checked out my video on the B string rule, you should check that one out, because we really want to be able to see through the B string. So if I mention that this is always how it is, it's always how it is minus the B string rule. And if you see through the B string rule, then it's just always how something is. So if this is the 5, then we can proceed with building this same pattern right here underneath the 5. And notice in each case, that note's corresponding lower 5th is on the same fret. So there's 1. Then let's take the 2 and the 3. And look at this. So from the 1 to the 6th, the note directly behind it is going to be the root note, or it's going to be the note directly behind it is going to be on the same fret. So if this is my 1, this is my 5, 2, 6. Now, where this changes is right here. the 4 and the 7, but if we come back to the 5 and the 1, we're right here. So everything outside of the 7 does not have a fifth. The 7 is built into a diminished chord when we do it diatonically. As a result, a lot of guitar players will play this fifth right here to include the fourth. That becomes the flatted 7, commonly used altered chord in a major key. For now, we're going to leave it right here. So if we were to take all of this, for example, and move it over to the open G string, we would have the same situation with all of the notes behind us with the open D string as well. So it becomes a lot easier to remember if you know the major scale and then you know your 1 through 6 is going to have the note behind it. So let's take a look at the B string rule then. If I move this over here and then move this along with it, and then I'm going to remove this and remove this, so that now we're going from G to B. We notice that if we're on our 1 like we are here, the 5 is no longer here, it's here, and the 2, the 6 is here, the 3, the 7 is there. And I can finish this by putting the 4 there and the 2 here. And so here we this pattern has become upset by the fact that the G and the B string are not tuned the same way as they are in all the other strings. But if we focus long enough on this and we understand the adjustment for the B string rule, then that'll also make sense. So let's just look at another spot where we can take this. We have a G on the A string right here. I'm going to run out of space, but I will take it here. And obviously most guitars go higher than 15 frets, so you'll have these options right here. Basically anywhere you can find your 1 where there's still a string behind you. Oops, I did that wrong. It's here. And so if we start on the 1 there, and then similarly there's a G right here on the D string. Some of my frets didn't get, or notes didn't get evened out. But basically we have this this pattern all over the place wherever we have a G. So falling off the screen here. So let's just start over one more time. Now that I've got this pattern here, if I take it and find my G there, and then G right here, and I'll be overlapping, but well, not quite. Might be right here. Oops, right here. So just with this right here, we see all this coverage, and of course whatever's here duplicated right here. So basically, from memorizing this whole step half step pattern and knowing that behind you the 5th exists for all of the notes except for the 7th, we can get some pretty good fretboard coverage just from that alone. So And remember, this applies to all major keys. I started on G for the sake of the video, but you can play it in any key. Do that, play it along to some chord progressions, see what you think, and let me know what you think in the comments. And I will make more videos explaining this deeper and in other keys and other situations. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave me some comments and see you at the next video.